Viewer discretion advised. Viewer discretion warning. This video discusses serious criminal allegations against Andrew and Tristan Tate, including rape, sexual assault, human trafficking, physical violence, and bodily harm. These topics are based on ongoing legal cases and public reports. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you are sensitive to discussions of sexual violence or abuse, please consider whether you want to continue watching this video. Now, let's dive right in.
This is Crime Comp.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block off the parts that we're not reading just so that you guys follow along so that we're on the same page here. So here we go. So we're all the way at the top now. So this case goes back, or the beginning of the Tate brothers and all these allegations goes all the way back to the 2012 to 2015 period, and obviously later on. Multiple allegations were made in the 2012 to 2015 period and later. Dozens of counts against Andrew, including rape, trafficking, assault, indecent images, and charges against Tristan. And guys, if you notice something is blurred out, I'm sure you can guess. Well, yeah, it's blurred out for a reason, like grapes. So anyway, the original UK complaints date mainly to when the brothers lived in Luton, Bedfordshire, north of London. In 2014, at least 2 women reported allegations of rape and assault against Andrew Tate to Bedfordshire police. The investigation was later taken over by Hertfordshire Constabulary. In July 2015, Andrew Tate was arrested on suspicion of rape and assault. In December 2015, he was arrested again on suspicion of rape after one accuser presented messages in which he allegedly wrote phrases such as, "I love graping you." A third woman also made related complaints around this period. Andrew was removed from the UK reality show Big Brother in 2016 after producers learned of the ongoing investigation. If you guys remember this, there's been some footage shown online of Andrew participating in the show. He was not on the show very, very long at all when these allegations were made, and then they proceeded to remove him from the show. So that was kind of Andrew's first bit of fame, I would say, was getting on the show there, although he was a very, very good kickboxer, but we all seem to hear about him obviously way later on. So Andrew was removed from the UK reality show Big Brother in 2016 after producers learned of the ongoing investigation. In 2019, the decision was made after a multi-year investigation. The Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, decided not to bring criminal charges against him for these allegations of rape and assault in 2014 and 15. So it was a multi-year investigation. They concluded the evidence did not meet the legal test for a realistic prospect of conviction. The women involved later criticized the handling of the case. Police apologized for delays. According to Tate, the police found exculpatory messages from the girls' phones. Some of these women later joined a civil lawsuit against Andrew Tate. Okay, so as I mentioned, the CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, decided or concluded the evidence did not meet the legal test for a realistic prospect of conviction. But what is the legal test? So the legal test is the full code test set out in the Code for Crown Prosecutors. It has 2 stages that must both be met before a case proceeds. 1, the evidential stage. There must be sufficient evidence to provide a realistic prospect of conviction. Prosecutors assess whether an objective, impartial, and reasonable jury or bench of magistrates properly directed and acting in accordance with the law is more likely than not to convict the defendant of the charge alleged. This is not the same as the criminal standard of proof beyond reasonable doubt that applies at trial. It is a lower threshold focused on whether the evidence is strong enough to justify putting the case before a court. Okay, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you don't want to waste people's time. So you need to have evidence in order to go to court. 2, public interest stage. Even if the evidential stage is passed, prosecutors must decide whether a prosecution is required in the public interest. Factors considered include the seriousness of the defense, the circumstances of the defendant and victim, the impact on the community, and whether prosecution is a proportionate response. A prosecution will usually take place unless the public interest factors against it clearly outweigh those in favor. Only if both stages are satisfied will the CPS authorize charges. Okay, the CPS has repeatedly emphasized that its role is not to determine guilt, but to assess whether the available evidence meets this legal test so that a court can decide the facts. This is the same legal test referred to in past CPS decisions, including earlier reviews of complaints involving the Tate brothers. So we just got into a little bit about the 2012 to 2015 allegations, which were the initial allegations of the brothers, okay? That's kind of where it all began. So what we're about to talk about now is what happened in April of 2022. This is what really hit the mainstream. All the things that happened before this were not as big of news, I would say, and it's also not what brought what just happened in Miami. Now, you'll hear more about the case from 2012 to 2015 later on in this timeline, but what happened in April 2022 is what a lot of places are saying where the investigation really began and where the Tate brothers really began getting accused and all these things started happening to them. It was really in April 2022. So let's get right into that. All right, so how the investigation began. April 11th, 2022, U.S. Embassy in Romania received a tip-off that a 21-year-old American woman was being held against her will at a Tate property owned by the Tate brothers in Pepera near Bucharest, a suburb of Bucharest. The report claimed she was being detained there. Because she was a U.S. citizen, the embassy passed the information to Romanian authorities. Romanian police raided the home and a nearby webcam studio. So 4 women were found, and 2, an American and a Romanian, told the police they were being held against their will. The other 2 women's nationalities and identities have not been publicly detailed in mainstream reporting because the other 2 did not make the same claim. Before we continue on with the timeline, I want to do a little bit of a dive into their webcam business and what the legal standing is in Romania on operating a webcam/corn studio. So anyway, operating a webcam/corn studio is legal in Romania if the work is fully consensual. The models are adults and taxes/business rules are followed. The Tates ran a webcam operation. Andrew previously claimed publicly that he had dozens of models earning large sums and that many started as girlfriends. Prosecutors alleged the business was not purely legal/consensual. They claim it was formed as part of an organized crime group that sexually exploited women through coercion, control, and the lover boy recruitment method. And guys, I'll dive in to what the lover boy method is and what was alleged in a moment. Content was allegedly sold online, including platforms similar to OnlyFans and OnlyFans. I believe they were selling it on OnlyFans. Andrew previously claimed publicly that he had around 75 women working for the business at one point, and that more than half of them started as his girlfriends. He also spoke about high monthly earnings from it. Tristan has described it as a legal streaming/webcam studio business he ran for several years. Currently, no final court ruling has declared the business illegal overall. The case remains at the investigation/pre-trial stage. The brothers strongly deny any coercion or trafficking and maintain that all activity was voluntary. So what happened next? After the 11th of April in 2022, when the U.S. Embassy in Romania received a tip-off that the 21-year-old American woman was being held against her will, like we just talked about, at a Tate property, and Romanian police raided the home and the studio. This then triggered a formal DISCRETION investigation into human trafficking and rape. The brothers were initially questioned as witnesses and released. They were not formal suspects. The statements from the two women combined with the embassy tip and the discovery of the webcam studio triggered the formal DCOT investigation that continued for months and eventually led to the December 2022 arrests. Now we're going to get into the December 2022 arrests. On December 29th, 2022, Andrew and Tristan Tate and two Romanian women were arrested. They were suspects of human trafficking, forming an organized crime group, and one unidentified person of rape. On July 20th, 2023, was the formal indictment of all four on forming an organized criminal group allegedly started in early 2021, human trafficking in continued form, a more serious version, human trafficking, rape, Andrew, related charges including illegal access to computer systems and violence. Also, in 2023, the Tate brothers filed a defamation lawsuit in Florida against a Florida woman and others for $5 million USD in damages against one of the accusers, claiming her allegations about being imprisoned in Romania in 2022 led to their legal problems. They said Tristan had paid for her flight to Romania in the spirit of fun and adventure. Here's the core allegations from DCOT's statements. Now, what is DCOT? DCOT is Romania's specialized agency for investigating organized crime and terrorism. They recruited women using the lover boy method. As I said earlier, I was going to explain the lover boy method. So you may be asking, what exactly is the lover boy method? In short, it's pretending to form genuine romantic relationships, but I'm going to go a little bit more in depth. The lover boy method, also called Romeo pimping, is a common human trafficking technique, especially noted in Romania and other European countries. This is how it works, according to authorities and anti-trafficking organizations. The trafficker pretends to be a romantic partner. He uses intense affection, love bombing, gifts, attention, and promises of a better life, marriage, or shared wealth. Once the woman is emotionally attached and often has moved to live with him or nearby, the dynamic shifts. He then pressures or forces her into commercial sex work, in this case, producing webcam/porn content, which is what is alleged. Then, control is maintained through emotional manipulation, isolation, surveillance, debt, threats, and/or violence. Romanian prosecutors, DCOT, specifically accused the Tate brothers of using this method, recruiting women by making them believe they were in genuine romantic relationships, then transporting them to Romania and coercing them into creating explicit online content. Now, more on the core allegations from the DCOT statements. So they recruited the two women using the lover boy method and brought them to Romania. They then placed them under constant surveillance and control, put them into debt, and forced them to produce explicit webcam/porn content sold online. Initially identified as 6 to 7 alleged victims, American, British, Moldovan, and others. Later expansions claimed significantly to more victims, as we know, up to 35 in one related probe, including one who was a little bit younger at the time, okay? Younger than 18 or younger than the age of consent. All right, some major expansions on the case. In 2024 and onward, the original set of charges related to the alleged offenses between roughly 2012 and 2015/16 involving 3 alleged victims for Andrew and 1 for Tristan was reopened. So they reopened the case that they previously said there wasn't enough evidence, right, to prove them guilty. The test they used, as I explained earlier, they reopened it. Bedfordshire police, working with Hertfordshire constabulary under what has been referred to as part of a broader investigation. reopened and expanded the inquiry into historical allegations of rape and human trafficking. So this operation against the brothers was called Operation Moonwalk. Shout out MJ. The Romanian police detained the two on March 11th after the prosecutor of the Bucharest Court of Appeal ordered them to be detained for a day until the court decided on the execution of the warrant. On the 12th of March, the Romanian court ruled that the brothers can be extradited to the UK only after the Romanian trial for human trafficking concludes. The brothers categorically reject all charges, as they always have. In July 2024, a civil case in the UK began against the brothers and a third person for alleged tax evasion. A month later, Romanian police raided 4 properties that Andrew owns and expanded its investigation by adding allegations of trafficking people underage, sex with a person, money laundering, and attempting to influence a witness/statements. August 2024, second investigation opened. In March 2024, British police obtained an arrest warrant for the brothers, and in May 2025, the Crown Prosecution Service brought 21 charges against the Tates, including rape, actual bodily harm, and human trafficking. We're all the way up to 2025, guys. So like I said, this was going to be a quick run through the timeline to give you guys the most accurate information as quickly as possible and to get you guys really caught up with the case. And you get a full picture of all of the allegations, when they started, how they started, and just an overall briefing of the case. In 2025, that woman, or a related American woman who gave testimony to the Romanian prosecutors, right? The lady who said she was held against her will, filed her own lawsuit against the Tates, accusing them of luring her to Romania and coercing her into sex work. Further expansions, including money laundering, removal of assets from seizure, complicity in trafficking of people underage, of May 2026, instigating hatred/discrimination against women. May 2025, first public confirmation of 21 charges. The CPS publicly confirmed it had authorized the 21 charges in 2024 before the warrant was issued. Andrew Tate had 10 charges relating to 3 alleged victims: rape, actual bodily harm, human trafficking, and controlling prostitution for gain. Tristan had 11 charges relating to 1 alleged victim: rape, actual bodily harm, and human trafficking. On to 2026. Here we are. July 2026. Major expansion. 38 additional charges. So a total of 59 charges. On the 19th of July 2026, the CPS announced further charges after receiving a new file of evidence from Bedfordshire police involving 4 additional alleged victims. This brought the total number of alleged victims in the UK case to 7. New charges alleged offenses between July 2010 and August 2017. So this is the original case, guys. The original case back in the beginning of this timeline. Now more girls have come forward. Andrew Tate, with the additional charges, now faces a total of 42 charges, 7 further counts of rape, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, 3 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, 19 charges relating to indecent images of a child and extreme pornography. Now Tristan, with the additional charges, now faces a total of 17 charges. 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. In July 2026, DCOT consolidated charges, questioned the brothers again, and ordered additional seizures, including luxury vehicles. Now I'm going to give you guys a quick bullet point status update, current update as of the late July 2026, where we are today. The brothers were arrested in Miami, Florida on the 18th of July in 2026. How you doing? By U.S. Marshals on a UK provisional arrest warrant. They are in federal detention and have stated they will fight extradition. The CPS has formally requested their extradition to face the full set of 59 charges. A separate civil case, a separate civil case in the UK High Court involving 4 women of the allegations of rape, assault, and coercive control from the 2013 to 2015 period in Luton/Hitchin is ongoing, okay? From the beginning of the timeline, guys, we are coming all together now. The CPS previously decided not to pursue the criminal charges, right? They previously said after doing their test there was not enough evidence to even go to court. So the CPS previously decided not to pursue criminal charges arising from that specific set of civil claims, as I mentioned before. The brothers have been questioned multiple times and continued to deny all allegations. They are innocent until proven guilty. All right, guys. So that's the end of the timeline. I hope this helped. If you were at all interested in the Tate brothers and the Tate case and what's going on and what has been going on, and you wanted to get caught up and understand everything fully from the beginning till now, I hope this helped. Please comment below what you guys think. Do you guys think the Tate brothers are guilty? Not guilty? I'm very interested in to see what you guys think. Obviously, they have maintained their innocence since day one. Since day one, people of status, people in the media tend to get hit with these things, okay? So for that reason alone, it makes you question, right? Because we see allegations all the time of people who have high status who are in the media. We do. And actually, we don't see a lot of them. A lot of them just don't, because there's not enough evidence, there's not enough proof, so they just get thrown out. So we probably don't even hear about 90% of allegations made or tried to be made, right? It makes you question, right? It just makes you question, is it true or not? And the only way to know if it's true or not is through the evidence after it's been ran through the courts, and the courts have made their decision, and they've gone their fair trial. There's no other way to say it, but I am curious on what you guys think. Like, which side are you guys leaning on? Are you guilty, not guilty? Obviously, again, they are innocent until proven guilty. Again, like I said, about their status, they're involved in media. They're obviously very, very famous. Everybody knows them, right? So that kind of puts a target on people. And when you're of that stature, when you're of that, I guess, importance, or in the media that much, people tend to say things and things get thrown out. People are interested in money, whatever the reason being. People will make fake allegations. I'm not saying these are fake. God forbid if they aren't, God bless their souls. I am very, very sorry for what has happened to these women if it is true. Yeah, guys, it's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one. It seems to, right? Like, obviously Andrew, he faces 42 charges, whereas Tristan faces 17 charges. So Andrew, who the spotlight has been on more since the beginning, has more charges. And something I want to say is, the other reason you beg the question is because they were rich before they were famous, right? So if they were doing, if what these women are saying is true, why go to the media? Why become famous? I'll tell you my opinion on why I think. It's because Andrew realized what was going on, and he had to say the truth as far as standing up for men, as for just all the political stuff going on. He had to speak on it. And I can understand that, because I can no longer not speak on the things that I see in the media, which is why I have this channel, which is why I talk about certain political things, why I cover specific cases. Like, These things need to be said. When I hear people say, oh, well, just believe the victim. For example, like Brian Shapiro, I believe his name is. He's always debating the Wilsons, Andrew Wilson and his wife, Rachel, which I love them, by the way. Shout out Andrew and Rachel. Very, very smart people. Very intelligent. Both of them, very, very intelligent. I actually have Rachel's book on feminism, which go give that a read, guys, if you haven't. Seriously, good, very smart individuals. But yeah, to just believe a victim, no, you cannot. That's a very dangerous path. That is a very dangerous path that as a society we cannot go down. We can't. I think what's sad about social media and everything is that, one, there's so many false things said, not just allegations, but just false things said about the people in the media. And I sometimes think that the people in the media, famous people, don't really get looked at as people. Okay? We're talking about ruining people's lives. Now, obviously, if these allegations are true, they should go to prison. Okay? No one condones this. No one. Nobody. Me especially, with what I just told you guys about myself. It's why we have a court system. So that the proof can be shown. There needs to be evidence, guys. All right. This is Crime Comp. This is the Tates. I hope you guys enjoyed, and God freaking bless. Have a great day.
This is Crime Comp.